when I started experiencing a pain-free life, it's like my eyes were opened. This is the kind of life that I want. I don't want pain anymore. I don't want to go back to that pain. Welcome back, friends. If you're new here, my name is Laura. I am an urban homesteader who loves to share about our homestead life, healthy living, and homemaking. For the last 11 years, I've been on a journey to feed my family nourishing meals that support our health as I have been navigating my own autoimmune illness. Exactly 113 days ago, I became a carnivore. And today I want to share with you some of the benefits that I have experiencing with this way of eating, but also some of the challenges that not a lot of people are talking about. One of the benefits that I noticed right away with a carnivore diet is that after a meal, I would feel full for a longer period of time. Before that, even though I was eating a nourishing diet, I was following the GAPS diet for many years, there were so many times where after eating a meal, I wanted to keep eating. Even though I was full, sometimes I just wanted to eat something just because I wanted to put something good in my mouth. I know that sounds weird or maybe even wrong, but that was the case. But with this way of eating, once I get to a point where I am content and I feel like I can stop eating, I no longer felt like I have to keep eating. I am good for hours until my next meal. I have been intermittent fasting for many years now, so I am used to only eating 2 meals a day, but my meals used to be a lot larger than they are now. I can eat a smaller amount of food, but because the food is so nourishing and so satiating, I don't have to eat a lot of it to stay satisfied. The second benefit I've noticed is that my energy has increased. In the past, after eating a meal, I would get really sleepy. I used to break my fast at noon, and so lunch would be my first meal of the day. And after lunch, I was just exhausted. I felt like I just couldn't do anything for the rest of the afternoon. All I wanted to do was lay in bed and take a nap. And many days I did just that. But now with the carnivore way of eating, I am actually breaking my fast earlier in the day, and I feel energetic throughout the day until my next meal, which is usually around dinner time. Along with that energy, I've also experienced more clarity of mind and not so much of that fogginess that I used to experience a lot before. Having energy for the things that I have to do here at home with my boys and our homestead is crucial. So I am very grateful that I've been able to experience this benefit. Now, this third benefit might sound a little crazy, but it is true. Not just something that I've seen with my body, but I've heard of other people saying the same thing. And that is when I do physical activity, I no longer get muscle soreness. Let me just say that I am not a huge workout person. I haven't exercised like rigorously in a long time. The type of exercise I do these days is some kind of like yoga type stretching. And then I also spend a lot of time outside working in the yard. But there were so many times when I would go outside and garden. You know, I have to kneel, I have to bend, I have to squat. I'm pulling things, I'm carrying things. And by the end of the day, I was just in a lot of pain. And the next day, my muscles were actually sore. You know, the kind of sore that you get like when you go running and you're out of shape because you haven't exercised in a long time. That's the kind of soreness that I would get from gardening. But it is amazing that with the carnivore diet, I noticed that that was completely gone. I didn't feel sore. It sounds insane, but it's true. And since then, I found out that a lot of people have the same experience, especially people that exercise a lot. They do a lot of weightlifting. They say that they don't get sore and their body is able to recover quicker from their workouts. So that was a huge benefit because I don't like the feeling of feeling sore. It is uncomfortable the next day. Okay, now on to benefit number 4. And that is that I no longer have cravings for things like sweets or carb-rich foods. Now, I've mentioned in a different video that I have been on a health journey for over 10 years, and I have been on the GAPS diet for that length of time. And the GAPS diet is not meant to be a low carb diet, but it can be if that's what your body needs. But I wasn't eating a low carb diet for many years. It wasn't until maybe the last 2 years that I went on keto on and off. And one of the reasons why I couldn't stay on keto was because my cravings were intense. After a while, I would just give in to those cravings. Now, when I'm talking about cravings, I'm not talking about craving Pizza Hut or McDonald's or donuts, because I gave up those things over 10 years ago, and I haven't craved those in this entire time. But it would increase my cravings for things like butternut squash, which I know are higher in carbs, or cheese and nuts and chocolate. Now, I know how to make some delicious chocolate treats that are made just from coconut oil, honey, and cocoa powder. And even though those ingredients are way better than the chocolate you would find in a store, I realized that they weren't good for me. They caused me pain in my joints, and it wasn't good for my arthritis. But it was so difficult for me to restrain myself, even though I knew the consequences that I would have to suffer afterwards. The cravings were intense. So at that time, I actually knew about the carnivore diet, and I knew I wanted to transition to the carnivore diet. And I thought, well, maybe if I first start reducing my carb content or reducing my vegetable amounts, I will be able to ease into the carnivore diet. But I couldn't do it, because if I just had a little bit of green beans or a little bit of broccoli, a little bit of caramelized onions, like that just woke up this desire in me for something else, like honey or ice cream or chocolate, those things that are still good ingredients and other members in my family can eat them just fine, but it just wasn't good for my body. So that's one of the reasons actually why I decided to go cold turkey into the carnivore diet, because the slow transition was not working for me. And once I cut out those things completely, those cravings, those intense cravings, are gone completely. And that is a huge, huge benefit for me that I'm very grateful for. This next one is a little bit silly, but it is actually meaningful to me. I have always had ugly toenails. Okay, there, I said it. And I knew that one of the reasons why my toenails didn't look good or cute was because I had toenail fungus. And I hated the summertime when everyone's wearing like all these cute sandals. I didn't like having to be barefoot all the time because my toenails were ugly and I was a little bit embarrassed of them. But now, and this is benefit number 5, my toenail fungus is completely disappeared. It has been amazing. And that is something that might seem minor, but to me, that is an indication that something is happening in my body. There is healing happening in my body. I know for a fact that toenail fungus has a lot to do with yeast imbalance in the body, and it's showing that candida overgrowth is getting under control. That's huge, because that is also going to benefit other symptoms that are candida related. Now, benefit number 6 is one that you would have to decide if it's actually a benefit from the diet or if it's just coincidence. Over the last 2 weeks, or maybe even longer, my sons have had this cold that has just lingered. It's just been a stubborn cold. And about a week ago, Glenn caught it, and now he's also healing from it, but I haven't gotten it. So I don't think it's coincidence that everybody else in my family got sick, but I didn't. Now, normally, because of the way we eat and we take care of our health and we do a lot of things to support our body, getting sick is not something common in our family, like getting the common flu or the cold or a cough. That just doesn't happen very often. But it does happen, I would say, maybe once a year around this time of the year. And in the past, I have also gotten sick with them. But this year, I haven't gotten sick. So I don't think it's coincidence. I think it's a benefit of the way I'm eating, and my body was able to fight off whatever was going around in the family here in our home, and I didn't get sick. The final benefit that I've noticed is by far the best, and that is that all my joint pain and arthritis pain completely went away. I've shared in a previous video that I have rheumatoid arthritis, and I have been managing my illness with the GAPS diet over the last 10 plus years. And that has worked for me. I haven't had to take any pain medicine, but did it completely go away? No. There was always a little bit of lingering pain. And there were some days that were better than others. And towards the last, I would say maybe year or so, I started to have more painful days than not. But about 3 days after changing my diet to the carnivore diet, the arthritis pain was completely gone. I think that because I lived with that lingering, subtle pain that's always kind of in the background for so many years, I thought that was normal. I knew it wasn't normal for everybody, but it became my normal. And it became something that I accepted because it's just how things were. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit difficult in the sense that I had to accept that I had been living in pain for the last 10 years and I didn't even know it. But if you are a person with chronic pain, I think you might be able to relate. It's not unbearable pain that you can't function, but it is pain that you notice. And when I started experiencing a pain-free life, that's when I realized I didn't want to go back to that kind of normal anymore. I wanted a new normal. I wanted a normal where there is no pain and I can go about my day and do the things that I love to do, like garden, walk, be with my family, and be well for the people around me. So that one for me was by far the best benefit. Now, there are so many other benefits. People talk about better sleep or completely getting rid of their acne or no more hives or other things that I am just waiting patiently that those things eventually will be things that I experience as well. But I just wanted to share some of the benefits that I have seen in my own body. Now, I also want to share some of the challenges that I have experienced with this way of eating. I see so many people on social media when they share about their carnivore diet journey. There's always a before and after picture, and we're able to see that they have lost so much weight. And that's great. And I am so happy for them. But for some reason, that hasn't been the case for me. Over the years, weight has been an issue for me. To get to my ideal weight, I need to lose about 10 pounds, and that's where I would feel the best. But unfortunately, the carnivore diet is not helping me lose weight. And I don't know why more people are not talking about this. So even though I started the carnivore diet more for healing and for my rheumatoid arthritis, I know that if my body is healthy, it will be at a healthy weight as well. When I started the carnivore diet, I lost about 9 pounds. But since then, I gained it all back and I'm actually heavier than what I started with. And that is very discouraging. Another challenge or unpleasant side effect, if you will, that I have been experiencing is oxalate dumping. Now, I'm not going to go into detail. I will have another video talking about oxalate dumping and my whole experience with that and what I'm doing to mitigate that. Because I had been eating well for the last 10 years and I had been nourishing my body, I didn't think I was going to have such a strong reaction. As a matter of fact, for a long time, I didn't even know I was going through oxalate dumping because my symptoms were not the typical symptoms that you hear about on the internet, like crusty eyes or even crystals coming out of your skin or sand in the urine. I didn't experience those things. And I thought I was just having other issues and that it had nothing to do with oxalate dumping. But oxalate dumping has been one of the hardest things I've had to deal with in this diet. One of the things that I need to do to slow down the dumping is to add a little bit of oxalates back into my diet. And because I've done that, unfortunately, my arthritis symptoms have come back. And that has been very difficult for me to accept and to deal with. I can just feel the pain all over again. It is discouraging to have some of those symptoms back, but I understand why. I understand that it is a process, that healing is not a smooth sailing, There's always going to be things to deal with. Oxalate dumping can be dangerous and it can damage your kidneys. So even though it is something that is unpleasant right now and it causes pain and it makes me feel like I'm going backwards, I do not feel bad about having to go through all this because I definitely want to protect my kidneys and I don't want to end up in the emergency room because of oxalate dumping. Another challenge I've been facing is restless leg syndrome and leg cramps. And that has a lot to do with magnesium and electrolytes. And it has been a challenge trying to balance my minerals and electrolytes. And that is something that I am also working on right now. And the final challenge, and probably the worst one that I've experienced, is digestive issues. Now, I understand that when you change your diet, there is a transition period and your body has to get used to the new way that you're eating, especially when it's something so drastic. I expected some changes, but I did not expect what I went through. At the beginning of my journey, for maybe like 1 or 2 weeks, I felt great. Everything was fine. But then after that, I started to have some pain in the area where my liver and gallbladder are. Now, I don't have a gallbladder, and I've known for a long time that because I don't have a gallbladder, I have a hard time digesting fats. But once I became a carnivore, I wasn't doing coconut oil or olive oil or ghee because I was trying to stay away from all kinds of dairy. And the only kind of fat I was left with was the animal fat and more specifically, tallow. So I knew I needed to slowly increase my tolerance for fats. But my body did not like that. So I started experiencing a lot of pain, like I said, in my liver, gallbladder area. Even pain that would extend to my back, and it was just very uncomfortable. And then the digestive issues started coming. I felt very constipated at first, then I would have horrible diarrhea, and then after that, constipated again, and then diarrhea. So it was like this weird thing going on. And around week 6, I got to the point that I couldn't tolerate anything. I couldn't eat anything or I couldn't drink anything without having a lot of cramping and stomach pains and having just horrible, painful diarrhea. And that's when I started losing weight. I lost 9 pounds. And I lost it rather quickly because I wasn't eating, and the little bit that I did eat would just go right through me. Even water, anything would aggravate my digestive system. I started feeling weak. I started feeling dizzy. I just kept pushing through with the broths. But that problem continued for weeks. And it was like during some of those really bad days that people would start to question what I'm doing and say, hey, are you sure this is working for you? Maybe you should start eating vegetables again. And I understand because they were very concerned for me because I wasn't doing well. But even in the darkest of days, I did not want to quit because I remembered those days when I felt so good, when I didn't experience any pain, when I had so much energy. And I remembered and I said, that is the kind of life that I want. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to pain. And if you have ever experienced any kind of chronic pain, you understand that if there is something you can do to stop that, you will. You will, no matter what. So, so I am happy to say that now my digestive system is doing well, and I feel like I finally have my life back. But now I am dealing with the pain again because of some of the things that I have to do to stop the oxalate dumping. So where will I go from here? I have been on this journey for 113 days as of today. And I've decided that I am not giving up. I have gone through so much crap to quit now. I am going to continue to push through, even though it's messy, even though it's hard, and I know it's going to continue to be rough. But I also know that healing is possible because I felt it. During this time, I am also going to continue to learn and grow from this experience. I have already been learning so much, and that excites me because it only means that I am growing in my knowledge and I am growing in my experience to be able to help others that go through this journey as well. I know some of these unpleasant side effects from the carnivore diet can turn some people off, but I am not going to go down without a fight. I am going to continue, and I am very hopeful for the healing that my body is going to get. In my channel, I have been very open about being a believer of the Lord Jesus Christ. And I know that He is with me through this entire journey. He is guiding me to the right people. He is guiding me to the right resources. He is helping me make the right choices for my body and my health. And I know and I trust that He has me in His care. And even though this journey is difficult, I hold on to His love and His care every single day. The days that I am in a lot of pain, the days that I am experiencing other side effects, I hold on to my faith in the Lord. Really, it is He who is helping me get through this rough journey. That has been my experience with the carnivore diet for the last 100 plus days. There are so many wonderful benefits, but also many challenges that need to be worked through. I would love to know in the comments if you've ever tried the carnivore diet or are considering the carnivore diet. It's not the lifestyle for everyone, but maybe it could help you or someone you know. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you like this content and you learned something new, please make sure to subscribe. In my next video, I'll be sharing with you more about oxalate dumping, what that is, how that has affected my body, and what I am doing to slow it down. I'll see you next time.